back handspring or a tightrope walk over the caldera. Let's talk about Covidiocy for a quick minute. Well, let's just say there's a lot of Covidiocy, and one of the ways to get rid of that is with some of that. So, I mean, it's going to be like, and it's going to be gone. I mean, this thing isn't your enemy, and really it's not particularly scary, although a lot of propaganda on the internet may try to convince you that it is. Let's talk about some stories. Now, first of all, former NCAA linebacker Dr. Rachel Devine, Pennsylvania's physician general, has been fudging some numbers as the Tom Wolf, governor of Pennsylvania administration, scrambles to cover its tracks on false COVID-19 death figures. So we've updated the forum to include that, as well as a story about some law enforcement personnel who swear an oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution in addition to their local statutes, standing up to the tyranny with the people. In other words, some police officers are refusing to enforce certain ridiculous laws that are utterly ineffective and utterly unconstitutional, as the government overreach, like propaganda from the mainstream media, has reached a critical level. Turns out Trump was right regarding the fatality rate. Turns out I was right too. If you want to read all about these stories, we're still amassing data here at smashomash.com/forum. You can find a link at the bottom of smashomash.org, or you can just type in smashomash.com/forum and you'll be there. So anyway, here's Dr. Rachel Devine several years ago. This photo's from Dr. Levine's office. And if you want to read all about Dr. Devine, just type in Meet Rachel Devine. You'll find this WAPO article. Let's read a quote. I've got a specific quote here, so just bear with me as we are streaming this live. In order to fit in, Dr. Devine, at that time known as Richard Devine, played linebacker for the football team, where Dr. Devine would tackle but didn't like the idea of potentially hurting another player. Dr. Devine remains a rabid New England Patriots fan. Ugh. Can't stand the Patriots. Now, I would like to invite you to
audit
your own government. Because when your government wants to hold you accountable, but your government doesn't want to be held accountable. See what I'm saying? So, get in line to
audit
your public officials. And I won't talk about my plans in this video. Anyway, Pennsylvania has removed 200 deaths as people have come back to life mysteriously. So, there's some interesting stuff, to say the least, going on with the propaganda coming from both the government and the mainstream media, so take it with a grain of salt, or perhaps a truckload. Let's talk about some over-the-counter medications. Well, one of them is Mucinex. I'm sure you've seen the commercials. Diphenhydramine. And, oh, hey son, thanks for destroying that. It was kind of hanging over my head there, and it was making me mad. So we greatly appreciate your support, local yellow dwarf. All right, I'll get back to you. I'll be back. All right, lates. Here's some over-the-counter meds. And these are not advices on how to cure COVID-19 or how to treat COVID-19. These are simply some over-the-counter medicines that I actually have. Now, one of them is guafenicin. Basically what this does is it thins your mucus and makes it easier to cough out mucus. So it's got some side effects, and it's used for various different things. Guafenicin, it's also used as an addition to Primatene and Broncaid ephedrine products. So if you're going to go buy ephedrine, now some of us find that ephedrine works extremely well to alleviate cold symptoms, and basically nothing else over the counter does it. Keep in mind it is a stimulant, so it's going to raise your blood pressure, and it is indeed used to prevent low blood pressure during spinal anesthesia. It is illegal in endurance sports if you consume too much of it. There's a certain amount, the last I checked, according to the World Anti-Doping Administration. You can have a little bit of ephedrine, but not too much, just like caffeine. So ephedrine is what we typically use when we've got certain congestive type symptoms. Again, keep in mind it is a pretty strong stimulant. It raises your blood pressure, and in Pennsylvania, in order to buy this, you actually have to show identification because it is used in the manufacture of meth. I don't think it is anymore, which is why they add the guaifenesin to it. But in any case, ephedrine, it works for me. It works for smAsho staff who has asthma, and so she's extra sensitive. So perhaps consider getting some of that to add to your home remedy over-the-counter repertoire. Again, read the warnings, but this is a legal drug that you can buy, and it's a performance-enhancing substance that it'll make you, it'll raise your heart rate, it'll raise your blood pressure, but if you can handle it, if you can handle stimulants, it may work very good to cure any kind of congestion. Also, something else everybody should have in their medicine cabinet is Diphenhydramine. That's right. Do you have an EpiPen? No, you don't have an EpiPen? Well, do you have a bunch of these little pink pills? Well, they could save your life in that if you get stung by a bee and your throat starts to swell up and you don't have an EpiPen, it may be too late for the ambulance to show up. You can chew a couple of these, and while it might make you drowsy, it might save your bacon. Diphenhydramine, known as Benadryl. It can also be used for insomnia. I don't recommend it because it makes me feel very strangely, and it doesn't really help my sleep. It just makes me feel odd. But it's a remedy to sudden allergy. So really everybody should have an EpiPen or two at home. I know they're very expensive, but one of the ways to help reduce your allergies is Diphenhydramine. It's going to make you drowsy. Again, none of this is actual medical advice. I'm just telling you about over-the-counter drugs that are available for most people at the drugstore. So this one doesn't require any identification or anything like that. Pennsylvania keeps track of if people buy too much ephedrine, pseudoephedrine, and those type of related molecules because, again, there are concerns about organized crime.